I have just completed my first 100 hours inside of Asseto Corsa Compitizione and been on the steep learning curve that this game has to offer. And after over 10 years of no sim racing, it has been a lot to get my head around. But how well have I picked it back up? So in this video, I'm going to show you some of my very first laps from ACC from a few months ago, and then jump back in the sim rig to do it all over again and to see how much I have improved in those first 100 hours. Can I officially drop the beginner tag after 100 hours? I'm going to need you guys to tell me in the comment section after this video. So let's dive in. So here is the first recorded footage I have of driving in ACC, and as you can see, I still have no idea how to record this properly. There is driver footage which isn't linked, and we're not going to bother trying to sync it up. So let's correct the view, add the lap timer in the corner, and get out on track. So we are here at Spa for my first proper laps in ACC. Spa is an all-time favourite track for me, and since moving from New Zealand to Belgium this year, I have had the privilege of getting trackside for both the Spa 24-hour and the World Endurance Championship. So it makes sense that I need to be good at my local circuit. So after spending time setting up the rig, the control settings and the field of view, it was in the BMW M6 that I set some of my first flying laps. Now to be clear, I have months of sim racing research behind me at this point, a lot of watching streams, and the knowledge of the racing line from being trackside as well. So this isn't a blind first set of flying laps. But I'm in the M6 because it's one of the first GT3 cars that I ever saw in person, and I'm using the base aggressive preset and haven't changed anything about it, trying to get the tyre pressures in the right window, which as you can see on the dash has definitely not happened. But this is what the first laps are like, many rough edges. As we make our way now out of Brussels, one of my favourite corners to watch cars at Spa, and through No Name Turn 11, I'm certainly getting those feelings back of just how difficult these first few laps were, just feeling out the sim. And even though I had a good idea in my head about what I was trying to do, actually making the car do it was quite a challenging first moment, and it was certainly a realization as I was setting these laps of just how much work I had in front of me to try and get quick in this game. Corners like down here at the bottom of the circuit I found were really tricky to actually get to the apex while trying to do it quickly, and at this stage I'm driving around quite slow. As we make our way up now through Blanchimont and towards the final chicane, there's definitely some key areas of the track where I'm losing significant time. Blanchimont, for example, a big lift through there, simply trying to not run wide, something you don't do once you get into this proper speeds. As we come into the chicane now, I brake way too early, I'm too shallow into the final part of the chicane, everything about this lap is just wrong, and I make my way over the line for a 2-minute 27.9 second lap. But the next day I decided I needed to set another lap just to create a proper benchmark for me with videos like this in mind for the future. And I've decided to use the BMW M4. Now it was also a little bit of a test to see potentially how much faster some of the new generation GT3 cars versus some of the older ones, and I've pretty much confirmed that with some of the testing videos I've done as well. But coming up El Rouge here, you can see with a little bit more practice, it's only a smaller lift through there, but a lift nonetheless. And we make our way down the Kemmel Straight in this car. I'm a little bit quicker than I was in the M6, but certainly not on any sort of proper pace. We get the braking now right down into the end of the Kemmel Straight, through Le Combe, and this is a really nice part of the track. Again, really spectator friendly this section. Get up over the curve there, back down into Brussels, and so far the lap has been pretty decent.
Now this is obviously the fastest lap I set in this session, but we're at lap number 6 at this point. So you do make those really big gains as you practice some laps and try a couple of cars when you are very brand new to this game. But we're still only in probably the single digit hours to this point, even with the time spent setting up the rig. So it's still very, very fresh, all of these particular sessions. As we come down now into campus, you can see I'm still nowhere near the right kind of tire pressure range. I'm over pressurized at this point, and we're in a practice session, so tire wear and fuel consumption are being used in these sessions, and high 20 degrees in terms of air temperature for this one as well. Right, we get out of that final complex at the bottom of the circuit. We're making our way back up through Blanchimont. 5th gear, get it up to 6th gear. I run nice and wide, and we are going to come through here pretty much flat. So already I'm starting to work on the things I'm seeing in streams and other people's channels. We get down into the chicane here, try and run it a bit wider to open up the attack curve on the final chicane. And we're going to see a nice improvement here, 2 minute 22.577.
So we have set the scene, but let me fill you in on what's been happening between those laps and now. You do a lot of kilometers in the first 100 hours of ACC, and for me, a lot of those kilometers were done doing a lot of testing of all the modern GT3 cars, which you can see in this video here. From that process, I chose the Ferrari 296 as my first full-time drive car in the game, and have since gone on to complete my license and first 10 races inside of Low Fuel Motorsport and its rookie class series. In the first 100 hours, I've been learning how setups work, improving my trail braking technique, and improving lap times through line choice and exploring track limits like some of the better drivers in the game. Now, I'm a long way from understanding all of the aspects of the game, and I think 100 hours is really just enough time to sort of dip your toes into all the different elements of ACC. But being intentional with the learning of these skills has led to big chunks of improvement. So let's dive in the sim, back to Spa, and see how far we've come.
So, shoes on, gloves on, kitting up, gearing in, and getting set to hit some fast lap times. As we hit the track now, and I've covered up all of the timings and predicted timings, and we're going to jump into what was the fastest lap of my session. It's lap 15 of this one. It took a few laps to get right, and to be transparent, we're looking at high 20 air temperatures for this particular session. The fuel and the tires are all set as normal in terms of consumption, and that's exactly how it was when I did my very first laps. This is also the first session that I've used a full setup in the car, and I've been experimenting with the free YouTube setups that are available, and I've certainly found that they've made a difference without completely changing the way the car drives. As we head up through El Rouge and now down the Kemmel Straight, coming hard into Le Com, second gear, hard up over these two sets of curbs, try get back to the outside of the track to open up the last part of Le Com. Third gear as we make our way now down to Brussels. First gear, punch out the other side, no name turn 11. I'm still trying to work out how to get through this corner quickly and consistently as we make our way down the hill now to Pujon, which is the same as no name. I really struggle with this corner. Sometimes I get it right and it can be tenths and tenths of time. Other times it's just really tricky. Coming down to campus now, and you can see compared to a previous best I'm a little bit down, but there is some time to find at the end of this lap. Stelvolt next, down to second gear, try get back over to the apex. I've been learning this corner and starting to get it right in the recent time as we punch out flat, full throttle up the gears, up towards Blanchimont. And this section of a track is really one which is probably showing the most progress, where you can be confident about where to put the car. You see on 6th gear, I'm completely flat through Blanchimont, and this chicane, I really get it nailed on this lap. Hard on the brakes, attacking and trail braking all the way through the apex of the corner. Open up that final part of the chicane on the gas and making a whole bunch of time, as you can see. And we're going to come across the line, a 2-minute 18.5 second lap. A truly remarkable time for me, my fastest ever time at Spa, a monstrous improvement from my first ever laps around Spa here. And as we look at the timing sheet, you can see 2:19.7 working our way down to that 2:18.5. And that fastest lap had none of our fastest sectors from the session, so there was still time on the table.
Well, how about that? A 2-minute 18-second lap at Spa. And that makes it a full 4 seconds faster than my previous lap in the BMW M4, and drops us from the 105 to 106% range down to a 102 to 103% lap time compared to the best players in the game. A pretty considerable improvement inside those first 100 hours. Now, of course, every 10th from here is going to be harder and harder to gain. And I honestly do not know how it is possible to be 2.5 seconds faster than I currently am. But over to you, a yes or a no in the comments. Do I officially have to drop the beginner tag in my channel? And if so, what level do you think I am now inside ACC? But as always, I will continue to share this journey and the lessons along the way. So if you're interested to see how my next 100 hours and beyond go, then hit that subscribe button and follow along the journey with us. Race hard, stay positive everyone out there. We will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching. Cheers.